Hey guys, my name is Heitor Fraga and I came back today from the premiere of Batman v Superman. I live here in Brazil, so here the movie starts running one day before in the United States. As I said in my without spoilers review for Batman v Superman, um, I would like to start this spoilery video here saying that I have no idea what I'm going to say. Um, because I did not plan everything to say about this movie, and stuff are kind of conflicted in my head right now about there's a lot of informations, and that lead me to one big thing, that is Batman v Superman is one hell of a long movie, man. It has so many unnecessary shots that is kind of amazing. Have you watched, fan films where, people simply don't have the budget to do something special, so they try to, evocate some, not nostalgia, but they try to evocate the atmosphere from certain characters and certain moments and situations, and, even a word. It's easy to see, for example, Dragon Ball Z fan film, for example, and you can see there's one in particular, I don't remember the name, where there's like 15 minutes just of landscapes and this director going through camps and stuff, and it's really artistical and beautiful in some sense, so it's kind of stylistic and it's awesome. And but at the same time you feel like, I mean, this is happening only because it's a fan film. People don't have the budget, so they can't afford anything else too much. Cost basically because they simply can't pay for it. And have Batman v Superman, that is a 300 million budget film that simply does the exact same thing when it should be focusing on storytelling just to start. That's something that really bothers me from the start of the movie. The movie have a great intro that is basically a flashback slash flash forward thing, involving the Wayne's murder, and basically the movie starts with they being carried to the graveyard at Wayne Manor, and young Bruce is there and stuff. Then he runs into the forest, and there's a flashback inside the flashback that lead us to the night in front of the theaters where the Waynes got killed. And it's a really beautiful and emotional shot. It's have a lot of slow motion that is like the signature of Zack Snyder, and there are some really great close-ups. The quality is incredible. It's a very emotional moment, and the camera and the story goes forward and backward while showing Bruce into the forest and falling into the cave, finding pets and all the stuff that we all have seen before in other movies and stuff. And that night the Waynes got killed. And I mean, if the movie had done this really great scene that's really artistical and beautiful and emotional, and it had kept it there, it would be amazing. Like, it's a great intro for the movie. It's really emotional, and reintroduces Batman to public. Not that it really needs to be done, but if they want to shoot it, Zack Snyder managed to get a really different and awesome shot of the Waynes got killed. Um, but it kind of repeats itself the whole movie. There are a lot of shots of things in slow motion, and conjectures about life and stuff where it shouldn't be, and it's just tiring sometimes. There's lots of long shots where it would have fit small shots. I mean, I can understand why people want to do this. It's a really artistic way. It's a very beautiful thing when you talk about fan films and people that simply can't afford for anything else, too much exaggerated or stuff. What was not the case, and it would be totally perfectly fine and cool if they made some of it. But I think that it's kind of repeats itself across the film. And the movie have around 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like it. If the movie had maybe 30 minutes less, it would be less tiring than it was. It's a really long movie. When you guys see it, you will understand what I'm talking here. It's a really really long one, and when you think about a almost 3 hours movie, you think that, I mean, there is a story to be told there, right? And no, there is not. I mean, like, the script have a lot of really big flaws. It reminds me a lot of Man of Steel, where you have tons of things happening at the same time, but you simply can't give two shits about what's happening on scenes. You know how things that in the story simply does not have a weight on it. It's cool when some shit happen and then Superman came by flying and stuff. Story goes forward and stuff. But I mean, they keep doing this Lois Lane stuff over the story, and it's kind of pointless and kind of boring at the same time. And there are some other plots. I think that Lex Luthor on this plot were kind of a little bit too much. I mean, dude, there's I'll stop doing talking about this and talking about the end right now, because there's something that is really bothering me. That is that across the movie, during like 2 hours and 15 minutes, this movie is entirely about setting that Batman hates Superman so much that he's going to kill him, because he thinks that this is his true legacy to the world. He will kill Superman and he will free the world of that, Kryptonian alien tyrant. And after a fight in the end of the movie, where things happen and Superman is made to fight against Batman because Lex Luthor have his mom, and a big bullshit. Basically, Batman is about to give the final blow. He has like this kryptonite spear headed to Superman's chest, and Superman is just down on the floor. He is powerless. He's facing death right there. And then he says that Lex has Martha, and Batman stops, because Martha is his mother's name too. And that's it. That's how Batman and Superman became friends. They have their mom have the same name, and that's basically it. And then after, you can see the hate in Ben Affleck's eyes. He's just so pissed at Superman. And then after that scene that has the length of like 2 minutes maybe, because Lois gets involved and stuff, and Batman simply forgets everything that he ever think about Superman, and they become friends. They become like really close friends, and it's so incredibly stupid, man. Like, dude, that's so terrible. And another, there are flaws in the script. They're so yelling that is almost surprising. In a sense that, for example, let me talk here. The big motto for all the critics to Man of Steel was that they have simply destroyed entire metropolis, you know? So Metropolis was entirely fucked up, and thousands of people died. It should have been millions, to be honest, because the city was, down. And so they have to have this big fight against Doomsday at the third act of the movie. That, by the way, the trailers make it really clear that that would be happening. And instead of saying that, for example, Superman, face it again, Doomsday, and try to move the fight away from the city. Basically, Doomsday fell where there were no one. Literally, man. In a sense that on some point, Doomsday fight against Superman, and they are facing each other in Metropolis on top of LexCorp. And Doomsday is really beating up Superman because he's like really big, have like more than 4 meters or something. He's like the double of size of Superman, and each one of them, of course. And the president of America decides to throw a nuclear attack on Doomsday, and then Superman basically run across the LexCorp building, and then he starts flying, punching Doomsday into the space where they simply were hit by a nuclear explosion. Like, I mean, okay, so they fired a nuclear weapon on them, and it exploded, and okay, but then Doomsday fall to the earth again, and Superman remains on space, and Doomsday simply falls in the only island in the center of Gotham's Bay where there were no one. Simply no one. He fell where there, surrounded by millions of people. He fell in the exact spot where no one were at. I mean, that's really convenient for heroes, right? I mean, dude, come on. And then they do something that will make fans, cry for a long time of joy and excitement. And I were kind of happy to see it too when it happened, but then I start thinking about it, and it's so weird that after being hit by the blast of the nuclear explosion, of course, the thing that happens to Superman is basically the exact same thing that happens to Superman when he stops the nuclear missile in The Dark Knight Returns in 1986. It's exact same thing almost. He's like this skeletal figure in atmosphere. In the movie, he kept at atmosphere, and then he regenerates from the sun itself really quickly, by the way. And then he returns to Earth to fight Doomsday and stuff. And in the comics, he falls to the ground and starts absorbing. And I mean, man, like I can totally understand, but this whole movie seems like a big fan service, and that's sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes it's a really nice movie, a really enjoyable movie, but at the same time, when you think and you stop to think about it, it's like people have this big pile of all the comic books that have ever been written about Superman and Batman, and then they pick it up, the good ones, and simply put there, what I mean? I mean, dude, come on. And it does not stop there. It's not like this small reference and stuff. Basically, that whole nightmare sequence that happens in Batman's dream that everyone is talking about and stuff, that basically is a vision that Batman has, because as far as the movie tells, Flash is traveling through time to give this vision to Batman, so he can see what's going to happen if Superman becomes a tyrant over Earth and stuff. And there's this whole stuff with Darkseid too, and parademons and stuff, and pretty much everything like that. And when I'm what you know and this whole sequence established that Superman was a tyrant over Earth because something happened to Lois, and guess what? That's basically what happened in Injustice. That's the exact same plot of Injustice. I mean, it's a already done story. Like, this movie is like this big mashup of well written and known history of Superman, Batman, Justice League, this universe. It's a really big mashup. People that did this script, they have gone through a really really intense study of the stories and stuff. But I mean, it was already done for them, and I can not feel that it's really lousy of them and really lazy and really they simply I mean, at the same time that fanboys and fans can be happy for seeing this happening, at the same time they should be very sad because this movie simply does not establish anything new. It's just takes takes everything it has from things that we already love. So it does not add anything to the mythology of Superman or Batman. And yeah, Superman dies at the end of the movie. Because he makes like this ultimate sacrifice to stop Doomsday of destroying the world, because Doomsday is immortal, as they say. So Superman, with the help of Batman and Wonder Woman, impale Doomsday with the kryptonite spear, and at the same time he gets impaled by Doomsday kind of bone hand or something like that. It's kind of believable because Wonder Woman had cut the Doomsday arm, and then really spike grew up of it, and then he's dead. Like, at the end of the movie, he's dead. And guess what? No, he's not dead. The exact last frame of the movie. You remember that X-Men 3 scene where Magneto have lost his powers, and then in that last scene he can move the piece of chess in the park and stuff. That's basically the same thing that happens to Superman. He has been buried in Kansas, and then Lois throws some earth to his grave and stuff. A very meaningful scene and stuff. And then the movie shows up it from really close, and the particles in the exact same second when the movie ends, they start to flew up, and that was actually pretty nice because it's a really great tie-in, and a hook to everything that comes after it, leading for Justice League and stuff, that basically says he's not dead, of course. But at the same time, it's kind of weird, and I mean, it's the exact same plot of the death of Superman. And as I said in my non-spoilery review, I think that Batman vs Superman is a really big monument to comic books, that Zack Snyder put his name, at the bottom of it. And like, man, there's some really bad stuff about this script. One thing that I would like to say about what's the name of that shit? The soundtrack. The soundtrack for Batman v Superman, and that's something I wanted to talk in my non-spoilery review, but I simply forget about it. The soundtrack is really good, but at the same time it makes me think even more about a fan film, in a sense that there are some moments when it totally feels out of place, and it constantly uses the theme that Hans Zimmer had made for Man of Steel, and those are mainly the great parts of the movie because the new soundtracks. I mean, sometimes they work with the movie, sometimes it simply does not. In a sense that at some points the music is kind of distracting from the scene, and it has no meaning. The first 15 minutes of the movie, even when the dialogues start and the story starts to running by, there's a music that incessantly keeps going and going and going, and sometimes it gets really tiring and stuff, so it's not good at all. And I think in the overall, talking about the script, and that's pretty much everything I have been doing here, is that it's a really lazy script on some parts. It chooses for the easy options instead of developing some good stuff about the movie and the characters and everything like it. By the way, I still think that Batman is not the absolute Batman. It certainly fights better than all the other ones, but I am still hoping to one day see a Batman that is not so emotional, that he does not demonstrate all this emotional side of him. You know how, for example, in Batman Arkham Knight, Batman is this really sober and serious figure that does not get affected by how things turn out around him, because I mean he just saw everything. He's ready for basically everything. He can face anything. He can face people that come back from the dead. I mean, this is Batman for real. And Ben Affleck's Batman is a great Batman. Ben Affleck does a great job, but the script does not help him at all at this. It has some really fragile moments that Batman should not have, because even as a human, Batman have like this moral sense and this so well trained and strong mind that he does not get affected by things in life and how they turn out, and especially a Batman like that, because he's constantly saying that he's 20 years fighting crime in Gotham, so he has seen pretty much everything out of anything, and everyone. He can face basically everything. He did won the match against Superman after all, and I mean, at the same time he's really tormented and frustrated, and he's feeling powerless and going through some shenanigans of emotional pain and stuff, and I simply think Batman should not pass by something like that. My opinion here, of course, is by far the best Batman on the big screen. The action scenes of here are amazing, and I mean, dude, I want to like this movie because it has some great parts. I can understand the fan service, and I feel kind of honored by it, because I feel like my love for these characters and this universe and the stories are, you know it's great for me as a fan to see these things, these pages that I grew up reading and stuff, so well represented in a movie and in the big screen. It's really great. But at the same time, I kind of wanted something new that could add stuff to the universe. I think that Man of Steel, for example, had so many great concepts about Krypton, about Superman. He had this really great vision about who Superman was, what he was supposed to mean to the world, and how he should operate and how he should do stuff. And I feel that some of it was lost in Batman v Superman. I think that are too many characters with too many side plots, with too many emotional troubles, and I think that none of it is well resolved in this movie. So it's like I cannot not do this comparison. Marvel, to get to the Avengers, they have like four movies, four movies I believe, and Batman v Superman is trying to do what Marvel did in four movies in one. They simply put so much thing into it that, I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it does not, and I mean, it really complicates the whole future for DC's cinematic universe from now on, because they have a really, really big responsibility to, make things go right now. And as far as I trust in Zack Snyder vision for this world, and as far as I think that, you know, he is a good director, that he knows what he's making. He has visually, he is a truly visionary, as people call him and himself call him, being honest. And but I think that there is something going wrong about this DC universe, and they need to fix it right, because if they don't fix it, if they keep, investing in the same mistakes, the same things people, does not like in the movies, I think that it may turn out to be really, really bad. um at the same time, the movie have like big good things that happened to it. Wonder Woman was perfect. She has amazing scenes in the movie. Uh, all the cameos from Justice League were pretty good. The Flash have two cameos actually. He shows up in his uniform once, and then as just as Barry Allen in other one. I'll probably do a video about Flash itself, because it has some really great stuff about it, and I wanted to talk better about him, because I am a really big fan of the Flash. I am a fanboy of the Flash, and I think he deserves a particular video, since he's probably one of the best characters in the Justice League in this movie. Even just appearing for like 2 minutes at tops. Um, 2 minutes is even a lot. His like his first appearance have something like 20 seconds, and then he shows up for more 20 seconds, so he does not have even a minute of screen, and he's probably one of the best Justice League members so far. And that's so awesome, because Flash is awesome. And I mean, I don't know what else to say, man. I want this movie to be good, and I want to like it, and I like it during most of it. But coming out and thinking about it, it is kind of downhill. And I mean, oh man, look. If I may ask you, please give your like to this video. I'll try to talk more soon. I guess, I believe, or something like that. Please do it. I would really thank you guys. Comment here what you think about the movie when you see it, about my comments. If you think I am talking bullshit, just tell me. I would like to know that. Thank you very much for watching this far. This is a really long video. So if you stayed so far, thank you very much. You are great. I love you. See ya.